This is one of my favourite places in the world. I'm at the Goodwood Festival of Speed here in 2023 and I have one of these. I'm officially media for Goodwood this year, which is insane. And today I want to do a video on 10 of the best value cars that you could get to take up the hill. Then I realised that's a very difficult video to make. There is so much precious metal here. I wanted to go to the other end of the spectrum today and talk to you about the 10 most ridiculous cars that I have seen at this event so far. And so, with that, let's get straight into it. And I think I found exactly where I want to start this video. So yes, we're kicking off with this, the Bugatti Bolide, a car that was actually released back in 2020 to the public and has more recently been announced as a track-only hypercar back in April of this year. Now, I have been in and around a bunch of Veyrons and Chirons in my time, but this is something completely different from my perspective. When you get into a Chiron or a Veyron, the focus is on luxury, despite obviously also being very, very fast. When you get into one of these, it's a whole new world entirely. It is slightly reminiscent of the Chiron, of course, and it still has that 8-litre quad turbo W16 engine, which puts out 1,577 brake horsepower, genuinely unbelievable. It uses a special carbon fibre body and weighs only 1,450 kilograms, making it around about 550 kilos lighter than the Bugatti Chiron that it's actually based on. That means the power to weight is less than 1 kilogram per horsepower. And typically from the outsider perspective, Bugattis don't sound that amazing when you're watching them from afar, but this one sounded mental. Every year that I have been to Goodwood, there has been the Cartier Style et Luxe area, which is an area of some of the most beautiful cars you could ever imagine. And the next car on this list was found in that area. It is this, the Porsche 911 GT1 road car. This is an incredibly important car both in Porsche and motorsports history, as it is an example of where both speed and innovation have come together to create an absolute masterstroke in engineering and design. Porsche originally built the car to compete in the 1996 GT1 class of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and it was this Le Mans DNA that went into the road-going version with its mid-mounted 3.2-litre twin turbocharged flat-six engine with 550 brake horsepower, which would take it to 60 in just 3.7 seconds. The race car version went on to win Le Mans in 1998, cementing its place in motorsport history. So fried egg headlights aren't as bad as people used to say they were. Honestly, I did genuinely try to find cars that had good value today, but I couldn't find anything of any real use. So as a result of that, I've had to switch to this video idea instead. And I think I can find some decent ones here because this venue is full of the most ridiculous cars in the world. And I'm sure you guys know that I'm a huge fan of rally cars, as we've got plenty of them here, but I'm not actually here to look at a rally car in particular for the next car on this list. If you are a long-term viewer of the channel, you will know I have a love for the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo, particularly because my dad actually has one. So it would be rude of me to not mention this absolute gem that was tucked away in the rally section of the event, the Renault 5 R5 Turbo 3E E-Tech 100% electric. And my word, is this thing cool. As someone who has been in and actually driven a Renault 5 Maxi Turbo, seeing this in the flesh really gives you that same impression with the massive wheel arches reminiscent of the 1980s design of rally cars, the huge rear wing, and then of course all the other little flary bits around the car, as well as the crazy light show that it's got up front as well. Of course, the car's design is an amalgam of the Maxi Turbo and the Turbo 2 and other cars like that from Renault, and the interior is the same. It looks classic whilst also being very forward-thinking and innovative. Genuinely, there was nothing else like it at the event, and I think this is one of my absolute favourites. I cannot believe how stunning this car is, genuinely. From one EV to another, I'm going to talk about the MCMURTRY SPIERLING. Honestly, one of the most ridiculous cars I have ever seen in my entire life. I went to Goodwood last year in 2022 and watched it go up the hill in person, and genuinely, an electric car has never made me feel any kind of way. It's never given me those tingles inside that you get from a screaming V10 or equivalent. When I saw the MCMURTRY go up the hill and go around the corner before going up to the wall, I genuinely felt those tingles. It was ridiculous to watch go up that hill. And so I'm not telling you much about the car right now, but I want to tell you just how it makes me feel when you see it actually move. There is plenty of information online about the car itself. I won't bang on about that, but if you haven't seen this thing go in person, it is an out-of-body experience. Next up we have this, the Singer Dynamics and Lightweighting Study Turbo, or the DLS Turbo for short, which is another reimagination of the 964-911 and celebrates the 934/5 endurance races of the 1970s. It's got full carbon fiber bodywork which was built by computational fluid dynamics analysis to optimize aerodynamic performance. It comes either a track-focused high downforce car with the massive rear wing, or a more road-focused one which loses the rear wing and just looks super classy. When it was first released to the public, a lot of people didn't really like how it looked and thought it was pretty ugly, but me personally, when you see it in person, it is unbelievable. Genuinely stunning. I don't know how you make a car that is so old look so fresh and so new, newer than anything else you can see there on the day. The next car on this list is genuine automotive royalty, where speed, precision and beauty come together to create this, the McLaren F1 GTR, a genuine masterpiece of endurance racing. Just 28 of these were ever built, and one even crashed at the event. It is crazy the type of precious metal that goes up the hill and is also crashed. It had a roaring BMW V12 engine in it, which sounds incredible. Now, I can't get you an exact price on one of these, but it is going to be in excess of $15 to $20 million to get your hands on one of these. And at the event, there were just multiple of them, just hanging around. You never need to go car spotting if you just go to Goodwood once a year. Genuinely, you will see everything you could ever see out on the streets at Goodwood and beyond. The winner of the Goodwood Sunday Shootout Hill Climb was this, the McLaren SOLUS GT, a car that was built for the Gran Turismo game before actually being redeveloped as a real racing car for the roads. This is a hyper-limited hypercar with just 25 of these ever being built. It's a single-seater with a central closed cockpit that is similar to a fighter jet. Genuinely, the way that it opens up is forwards. You have to climb in from the side like you would in a fighter jet. Powered by a screaming 5.2-litre Judd V10 engine that revs well beyond 10,000 RPMs and generates 817 brake horsepower. It weighs less than 1,000 kilograms and generates 1,200 kilograms of downforce. Genuinely, this might be as close to an F1 car as you can drive as a road car. We're on to another personal favourite of mine at the event, which I think deserves a lot more love, the Maserati MC12, which was built on the chassis for the Ferrari Enzo, one of my other favourite cars. It was built as a homologation special by Maserati to allow them to compete in the FIA GT Championship. Just 25 were produced in 2004 for that first season, but then after the FIA changed the rules allowing a different maximum length of cars, they had to create a second batch of 25 cars, which are 150mm shorter than the originals, making a total of just 50 cars available out there in the world, and alongside the 12 actual race cars, there were just 62 of these in total. The typical design you expect to see on these is the two-tone white up top and blue down the bottom, but I love this example that they had at Goodwood with the full blue. Genuinely a beautiful car. Because I talk about good value cars, I rarely get to talk about Koenigsegg's in my videos, but I am very excited to talk about this, the GEMERA. The original plan was to make a car with a smaller engine and the hybrid as well, but in the end they've ended up using the engine out of the Jesko, a V8, attached to an electric motor which they have called Dark Matter, to produce a combined 2,300 brake horsepower, meaning it puts out 1.11 horsepower per kilogram, as well as 2,750 Newton meters of torque. There is clearly a reason why Koenigsegg are calling this beyond a hypercar and beyond a megacar even. The fact that it's therefore a 4-seater makes this even more special. Honestly, when you see this car in person and you see the woven carbon fiber around it, the materials used on the interior, and just how insane the whole package is, it's impossible to not fall in love with it. I can't tell you how excited I was to see this. The 2008 2008 Lewis Hamilton championship winning car from Brazil. I have been a Formula 1 fan for my entire life. When I was just 4 years old, for example, my dad and I missed my sister's birth because we were sitting in the waiting room watching the 1999 French Grand Prix. And the three names that stick out most to me in Formula 1 are Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. And I remember distinctly watching the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix from home with my parents and seeing the "is that Glock" moment. Well, now I'm in the very fortunate position to have friends who work for the McLaren F1 racing team, and they invited me along to have a look at the car up close and even stand behind it as it started up. Side note, I didn't actually have any earplugs, so I'm pretty sure my hearing might be irreversibly damaged off the back of this, but whatever. So that was a lovely day. I love Goodwood so much. Thank you to Goodwood for letting me come along and film this video. And now I get to drive home in something a little bit special. More on that in a bit. I will see you guys again very soon. And click up there to watch a different video.